a lot of chaos, but at the same time, what we feel is a really good customer experience. So the start of the process for us when it comes to buyers or sellers is understanding what their goals are, right?
And real quick, Zach, I'm just gonna, as we have some people hop in here, everybody, thanks for hopping in. This is another system spotlight here with Osiris. This is Freddie, co-founder over here at Osiris, and we've got Zach, and I'm gonna hopefully pronounce this correct, Terlier.
Not bad. Not
Okay,
bad.
we tried.
In English, in the United States, you'll say Terlier. If you're in France, it'll be Terlier.
All right. Hey, I'm halfway there. But thank you everybody for joining us today. What we're really going to focus on is we're going to spotlight Zach, his business, and the way that he really has cultivated his team's culture to give and breathe 5-star customer service to their clients, and kind of what that looks like through the buyer and seller life cycle. And so we'll kind of talk about, meeting them as clients, as leads, if you will, converting them into clients, and what their experience is to feel at the end of this transaction with you that, hey, wow, this was, with the Terlier team, this was a 5-star experience. We have no qualms. These guys were great. So, we'll start off with kind of Zach just diving into, how he's seen this be effective for his business, and really the points that you make sure that your team always, goes through and checks off to make sure that a client is getting a 5-star experience.
Right. Okay. That's great. Amazing introduction. Thank you so much. Happy to be here today and talk a little bit through what it is that we do. I'm always a learner in the industry. So even though I think I have things figured out, it's always nice to hear what other people are doing as well. So hopefully I can help some of you that are watching this webinar that are looking to maybe raise the bar a bit. And if you have some tips and tricks for me, I'd love to chat offline and find out some of the things I could be doing differently. But the initial process for us in the beginning is always when we get a phone call, right? It's either a buyer or a seller. And if I use the example of a buyer, we have what's called an initial consultation checklist. So this is a questionnaire that everybody on my team follows so that we can gather the appropriate information about the needs and requirements of the buyer, so that we have a place to store that information and we can set up a search for them. Did you guys want me to walk you through how I actually do that? Would that be helpful, or do you just want to?
Yeah, I would love to see that. I think that'd be great to kind of peel back. I think that's what we found is really great about all these, especially the last one with Mike Marjama, is we're lifting up the hood. We're showing people the engine here.
And I think this will help people put the pieces together by actually reverse engineering and seeing what it is. Because the first question is going to be, okay, well, you ask these buyers or a seller a set of questions. Well, where do those questions come from? Do you have them in an online form? Do you have them on a piece of paper? And for us, we're using Follow Up Boss right now. That's our CRM system. I want to keep my agents in there as much as possible when they're communicating with leads. So I've actually built in, and I'll just go ahead and you'll have to make me host, I think. And then
yeah, here you go. Go ahead. You should be able to share now.
I know a lot of teams are using like the online forms, which is a really great way to do things. I like to be on the phone with the client when I'm asking the questions. So I've already created we're actually going to do a seller example just because I think it'll probably resonate a little bit better, and there's a little more information in there. So within the deal section in Follow Up Boss, I've actually created a set of templates. So you can see here, this is all my active business and the stages that everything goes through. But when you're first on the phone with the buyer client, we have what's called an initial consultation template. And all this is a pre-written questionnaire that I put within the description in Follow Up Boss. I copy that and I'll paste that into the notes section. So now I'm on the phone with Tom Cruise. Hey, Tom, how did you hear about us, right? If we don't yet know that, we'll ask them while we're on the phone. What is your time frame? They're looking to, buy in the next 3 months. What is your experience? Have you bought or sold before? A new buyer, right? So they're really green. This might also help me if I'm triaging for agents on my team to see who might be better aligned to work with this buyer, or for an ISA to get this information. You can do that as well. Here's where we'll find out their budget. Let's say it's $500,000. Financial capacity just means they're pre-qualified or not, right? And then here we just go through the criteria of their home. figure out what it is they're looking for in a property. And then from there, we can craft their search within whatever tool we're using. Here in my market, we use something called Pillar. It's similar to CoreLogic or Fusion. That's our MLS database, right? Now, once this buyer becomes somebody that we're actively working with, we'll move them over to the active state. Did you guys want me to go through all the stages and how we get there with our clients?
I think we more so need to dive into the stages, but more, more so what you guys are doing. And, I think something that it was cool that we saw is you get these great reviews from your clients at the end of the day. And it's not just because you helped them buy a house or you helped them effectively sell a house, but it's because how you made them feel through this process. And I imagine that comes top down from how you're training your agents to converse with their sellers and their buyers, how to check in. Sometimes we pick up sellers that are like, yeah, my last listing agent, like talked to them twice over 30 days. I imagine your team is cultivating these strong, like rapport connected relationships with their clients to get repeat business and these 5-star reviews.
Correct. So for us, we hear this a lot in the industry, especially if it's a listing. The realtor just put a sign on the lawn. We never heard from them again. We didn't get any updates. They forgot a lot of the stuff that we told them. They just weren't hearing us and they weren't listening. And we felt, abandoned in a sense, or that they were on an island. So for us, we really have strict rules within my team. If it's a hot lead, so if that's somebody that's, not yet signed a listing agreement, but has expressed that they will be looking to buy or sell within the next 30 to 60 days, we put them in a hot stage, and then we follow up with them without fail every 7 days. If it's an active client, somebody that I'm out touring properties with, or somebody that I have their home listed, what I do is every Friday, and it's the same for everybody on the team, this list we go through religiously, and we just go into each contact record and we scroll through and make notes, and we look to see what the last communication was with that. I'll use this one as an example. Ainsley is a seller client of mine. Her property is not going to be on the market until next week. We've been working with her to prepare the home for sale over the last 60 days. And every week, as a reminder for myself, I come in here every Friday and I update her contact record. And I'll even update her to say, hey, Ainsley, everything's on track with my administrative team. I know we're not ready for market yet, but here's some of the next steps. Here's the things we're going through. This is your, the photos are ready to go, all that stuff. Now, this is not something that just I do. I also have a full-time administrator that's in here interacting with my clients. But the long and short of it is, without fail, we want to make sure that our customer knows that we're going to be in touch with them on a regular basis, and they can always reach out to us if they need. But without fail, it'll be once a week. They'll hear from us one way or another. Even if there's no news, we just want to let them know that we have
check it in. That's awesome. Now, are your agents on your team doing this as well? And how are you structuring that weekly check-in? Are they in a stage that's linking to a smart list, or do you have an action plan once you get a signed listing that reminds you to check in via tasks once a week?
Yeah, we try not to be so task intensive, only because I find it overwhelmed, especially when you have a lot of transactions going on and there's a lot of moving pieces. So we do like to utilize the smart list. As soon as somebody's active, or we know that we're out showing them homes, or we're prepping their property for sale, or it's on the market, then they go into an active stage. Now, everybody that's within this active stage, and all our smart lists are the same. I've designed them as new, not contacted, someone that's attempting contact. So we reach out to them every day until we get in touch with them. Otherwise, they fall into a nurture follow-up list. Cold is, 60 to 90 days, 90 days or more warm. It's pretty self-explanatory. Active is the only list where, so what my team knows is every Friday we have to follow up with whoever it is we are assigned to. So I would come in here on a Friday morning, I would pick all the clients that are assigned to me, and then I would just go through every list. This is a handy little button off to the right, and I just literally scroll through each and every one of these to see who needs to be contacted, or I'll make a note on it, right? And I'll mention people in my team if it's relevant to them, right?
That's awesome. Now, I can, playing devil's advocate, can see some agents wanting to say, well, gosh, no news check-ins. What am I doing there? But I'm sure that you, now having had your team and yourself do this for quite a while, that those no news check-in calls are actually really important still, because you're just strengthening in my mind at least, you're strengthening the relationship with that client, right? Like, yeah, hey, I don't have an update, but I'm just letting you know I'm here. Is that kind of, when you guys are having those calls, what's your mindset? Where are you coming from? Almost like what's your script like, I guess.
Well, it's twofold, right? Because on one hand, we want to let them know we haven't forgotten about them, but on the other hand, I've got a lot of business going on right now. I'm actively working with 33 people myself. The team has got We're a team of four, and so it looks like we're working with about 44 people or 43 people actively right now. It's also for my agents to do a bit of due diligence on the back end to remind them, like, well, hey, what is going on with this client? If it's a seller client, for example, and you're going through the active client list, what is going on with that property? How many showings are we getting? Why aren't we getting activity on this home? So it's a reminder for the agent to kind of dig a little deeper and see what we could be doing to help facilitate a sale if we're not getting activity. It's just a really good refresher for people to understand what's going on in our business at the time. I will give another little tip.
Yeah.
What system do you guys use for MLS?
So, I mean, personally, I'm here in San Diego, so I'm in Paragon,
Okay.
Which
Now
is,
in Paragon, you can send out automated emails, right? Like property search listings for your clients.
you can, yeah. We do, since we're in the States, where we're at, we have really nice off-the-shelf IDX websites as well. So a lot of times we'll be utilizing those.
Right. Okay. So for my clients to kind of automate the process so that I'm not always, I like to reach out once a week, but if I'm away on vacation or I just want to send them additional information, what I've done is anytime I have a new listing, I will put the client on an automated search with an automated email through the system that we use, which is called Matrix.
Yes.
And we send them an email through that system, and it reads something like this. Do, 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 do. This is just another one of it.
Sellers who are also buyers.
Yeah, no, this one is just for sellers. So as soon as their
Okay.
property goes on the market, I would create a search for them within our MLS, right? And I can set that up so that every week they will receive an email that shows them all the new listings that are hitting the market in their area, right?
Okay, so they can see the competition.
Yeah. And on top of that, in Canada, we have realtor.ca, and realtor.ca actually shows the statistics of how many people have seen that particular listing online, how many realtors have clients set up for searches for properties that match that criteria. And I link that into a weekly email that also goes out to the client on Friday so that they're not, because this is the worst phone call or text that I get from my clients. I hate getting these. Is they say, well, hey, Zach, I just noticed that my neighbor got a for sale sign on the lawn. Do you know how much they're listed for? Or, oh, hey, I was driving through the neighborhood and 123 ABC Street has a sold sticker on it. Do you know how much it sold for? I want to be proactive rather than reactive. So I try and send them as much information as I can on a regular basis so that it looks like I'm doing more work in the background, right?
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I like doing that. And for us here, what we have is our, I'm not sure that we can link to it, but we have reverse prospecting where we can see, some of the same information, how many agents are searching for, have clients searching for a house like mine and have a drip search set up for them.
Yeah, an example of that would be, I just pulled a link from one of my deals. If they were to look at it, I might be running a little slow because we're on Zoom, but this is what the consumer would see. So every week,
That's great.
they can click on this link. They can not only see all the new listings that hit the market in their area or what went pending or sold, they can also get a quick glance at all the activity they've received on their listings. And this is powerful information for the agent as well, so that when you're having conversations with your clients on a weekly basis, you could say, hey, Tom Cruise, I noticed that your listing got 465 views over the last 7 days. That seems to be on trend with some of my other listings, but over time you can see that we're starting to see a lot less activity. We've been on the market for 60 days. Maybe it's time for us to consider doing a bit of a price reduction, right?
Okay. So, these sellers are being followed up with once a week based off of the way that you're statusing them and they're getting onto your smart lists. And it's great for a multitude of reasons, like you said, just to check in, let them know you're here, but also for the agent to be on top of like, oh, wait, hey, okay, I've checked in 3 times and actually we have no offers. We're sitting like, what can we do here? Do we need to reposition? Tell me a little bit about buyers. Are they getting followed up with once a week in a low inventory market like we've been seeing? I've had some clients, thankfully we're seeing some inventory at the market, but I've had some clients where sometimes we're only seeing a house once a month because there's not anything that meets their criteria. You're checking in with them once a week. What are those conversations like, and how are you cultivating, a good experience for buyers that frankly are probably pretty exhausted sometimes after the last, little bit.
Yeah, for buyers, if we're out actively touring them, we'll put them in the active list and they'll just get touched once a week. Worst case scenario, we're just sending them a text message saying, hey, John or Jane, it's just Zach, just wanted to check in, see if the criteria is still what it is that you're looking for. Are you finding anything that piques your interest?
Yeah.
Those sorts of conversations, right? So it's a once a week thing, and we leave it more in their hands to window shop and then reach out to us if they see something that's interesting. Inventory is moving a little bit faster in my market, so we're not seeing buyers that are floating around for like 30 to 60 days, but in a slower market, we're probably in touch with them a little bit more. We have a little more free time ourselves as well to start researching a little bit more on our end for options that maybe they haven't even thought of yet, right?
So, kind of bringing it back to this 5-star customer service. It's 5-star customer service because you're getting those 5-star reviews later on as well. So, when are you asking for reviews? Do you use like an automated review service? Are you reaching out and asking directly? Are you asking multiple times?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. I've tested this. I'm trying to find one right now that doesn't have a bunch of personal information, but
Yeah.
my admin, once we get 2 days away from a closing date for buyer or seller, we have a get reviews action plan that we will launch. There, I'll just try and find Tom Cruise here. Nope. So she would come in, she would have a task in here that would say launch get reviews action plan. She would come into the get reviews over here and she would activate that. And then there would be a task for her to send out multiple emails. We want to request the review at least 3 times. If we don't get a review by the end of it, then we'll reach out to the client to find out, hey, where did we go wrong? I noticed that you didn't take the time to write us a review. Can we make the process a little bit easier for you to do that? We give them 3 options. We give them they can write a review on Google. We have Rank My Agent in Canada, which is nice because it also shows your reviews on realtor.ca. And then we also use Facebook recommendations. We don't really have Zillow up here in Canada, so that hasn't been a big play for us, but we're entertaining the idea of adding that as well. Maybe I can show you what that email looks like because we make it really easy for them to do. You guys have to forgive me because my admin does a lot of this stuff for me in the background.
And just question on that, is it a virtual admin or are they in-house?
Yeah, they're in-house. Nothing wrong with doing stuff virtually. I'm just really hands-on. I like to have people that I can.
And they seem like a full-time employee. But for others out there, some of these items, you might be looking at it as like, oh gosh, I got to do all this stuff to start garnering these reviews. But a lot of these are great activities for virtual assistants. There's a lot of ways that you can eliminate some of these small manual tasks, still get the job done, if you will, but not have to just increase the amount of hours you're working every day.
This could be automated as well. All you do is you change the deal stage. In fact, we've built it out that way so that when we change the stage within the deal section and it moves from firm over to walkthrough or closing schedule, then they'll automatically apply this email action plan, right? And so this is what it says. We make it really easy for them. We actually show them what other people have written in the past. They can click on any of the 3 links that we have there. I bribe them a little bit too, because I find that works. If there's something in it for them, they're more likely to leave a review and they'll leave a positive one. Although, we do very much take good care of our clients. And so I don't know that I've had many reviews under like 4.5. It's usually a 5-star experience. So they're happy to write reviews for us. And once they've completed that, then we'll send them a gift certificate to Skip the Dishes for $25. But moving forward a bit here, once they've closed the sale with us, we don't forget about them, right? They automatically go into BombBomb, and I use the prompt campaign. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it automatically sees when your clients' birthdays are, and you can schedule on their birthday to send them a little video email. My admin also goes in. One of the most important things we track in the custom field section is their birthday.
Yep.
the spouse and the primary contact, and she'll go through, she'll find out whose birthday it is in any given month, and she'll pre-hand write birthday cards with a $5 Starbucks gift certificate, and that goes out to everybody on
That's
their birthday.
awesome. And I'm not sure that you guys have access to AM cards up there, but we do have
Yeah, we
AM
don't.
cards down here
Yeah,
in the States, and that's a great use case for AM cards there, right there, guys. You can have all your templates already pre-made, and you can just fire off those handwritten notes on birthdays.
I get so much business from birthday cards. It's unbelievable. And they get a bit of a double whammy, right? Because they get the personal video from me on their birthday,
Yep.
reminding them to go and check their mailbox because they can expect to receive a physical card from me. And then, of course, they get the physical card. Now, we've got long-term nurture drips for clients after they go into a closed or past client stage. They'll get direct mail from us every month through a marketing firm in Canada called Morris Marketing. So they go into there, and then we put them into a follow-up stage where if it's a past client, that's either, I mean, most of the people on this call, you're probably familiar with like the Buffini structuring, which is A, B, C, or D. That's the status of your clients. Does that make sense? Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. It's kind of like celebrities. You've got your A-list celebrities that walk the red carpet. If you're a past client that is an A client, I'm following up with you every 30 days. If you're a past client that's either a B, C, or a D, then you would fall into my, so here's my A list right here. These are all the clients that are A clients that I want to follow up with and this is a personal touch. This is me picking up the phone. Hey, Eris, how you doing? How are you and your wife and the baby and the kid and all that kind of stuff? Those kind of conversations. Do you know anybody that's looking to buy or sell? And then if they're a B, C, or D, then they just go into our past client list. And these are the people that I'll touch every 90 days, usually without fail. But you can see that there's quite a few contacts here, right?
Yeah.
335 people that I need to reach out to.
And that happens, right? That happens.
And, yeah, you get busy, right?
Yeah, that especially over the last couple of years. And so everybody else, a great service that I utilize, and a lot of agents I know utilize. It's a great way to stay in touch with people post closing, physically staying in touch with them, not just email and digital. It's called the Personal Marketing Co. tpmco.com. I think have to double check, but I believe it's $25 a client, and they will mail to your client for 5 years, keeping you top of mind. It's the best.
That's amazing. It's just really good redundancies. There's property anniversaries as well that we reach out to as well. We don't send them a physical gift on that. We just say, hey, notice you've been in your property for 1 year. Just wanted to give you a quick shout to see if you're looking for a revised evaluation on your home, to see if we built up any equity, that kind of thing. Just again, showing them that we care, right? We're looking into their investment. We want them to know that they can reach out to us anytime as their trusted real estate partner. And we're being proactive about it. I don't want to wait for my clients to call me. I want to make sure that I'm reaching out to them first.
Yeah, that you're in front of them. And so I think, one thing it kind of circles all back to is obviously you have a team, and a lot of, I think agents that tune into us here are solo looking to grow a team, or they're a team as well. So, this 5-star service that you've clearly designed and structured yourself through coaching and your experience in the industry, it seems like it's also trickling down to your agents. Where does that start? How does that come? Is that from your culture, from regular team meetings, from your onboarding and training process? It's great when you meet an agent that's never done any business and they just got licensed, because you get to train them right the first time. But a lot of times, an agent that could be joining your team may have had a 10-year career already and had been doing business a certain way. So do you find friction, like when you're onboarding agents and you're like, this is what we do, and this is how often we call people and check in, and kind of how do you create and train top down?
Yeah, just repetition, right? And one of the things I hear from not only seasoned agents that have been in this business for a while, I mean, I'm a second generation realtor. When I stepped into the industry, my parents had already been selling real estate a certain way for 20 years. And then I came in with these big ideas and wanted to turn it into a business. And they said, this is a lot of work, Zach. Like, why are we putting in so much effort per file? And what I've been able to show them and show my team over time is this is how you build predictable business without the peaks and valleys, right? You just follow these guidelines and what it is we're doing. I can show you how to do 80 deals a year as an individual agent because I've done it and I continue to do it. Here's how we do it. this is the roadmap. These are the things that we have to do to stay in touch with our clients so that we can build sustainable business, right? So
Yeah.
we're
So
really heavy on the repeat referral side of things. I mean, I know lead gen is really big as well, particularly for newer agents. We've got to keep them fed. But I want to show them how to build a book of business. And part of the ways in doing that is by providing a really good customer experience.
which all boils down to a strong, good relationship with your clients, right?
Stay in
And not
touch.
just having that in your mind, but conveying that you feel that way and seeing that they feel that way about your relationship as well. And it's not just this, I'm here to do a transaction and then I'll see you later type
Yeah.
of, which exists in our industry.
I do a bit of an audit for every file. That's a task that we have set up in one of our action plans. So if it's a deal that one of my agents have done, I'll go through the history of that transaction and I'll see some of the communication and correspondence that they've had and coach them on that. Right. But they follow the same protocols that I do. They have the same tasks that I have. And I let them listen into a lot of the conversations I have with my clients so they can kind of learn by osmosis and see how things are done.
Yeah, and understand, because I know sometimes I remember myself being a younger agent. It's like, I don't have any news. Well, I'm just calling this guy. I don't have any, what am I calling him for? And being comfortable. And it's good to see, your leader make those calls too and see how they walk through those and really learn by that doing right there. And as we're kind of getting towards the end here, I just want to say, Zach, thank you so much for kind of lifting up the hood and showing us how you've built this business around cultivating strong relationships with your clients to get those reviews, and how you're showing your agents that it's not just beneficial for their business, but hey, look, it actually works because I did it, and this is how I scaled, and this is how I got here. To wrap up, just wanted to see if anybody did have any questions before we post this on YouTube and call it quits for the day. Open it up. I think it's open up for everybody to have questions if they did have any. But while we're waiting for some questions to roll in, I think we touched over a lot of really important things today. And I think you said something at the very end there that I think resonates through all of real estate. Despite what route you want to take your business, if you want to be a geo farmer, if you're just going to be an online leads machine, if you're going to kind of do everything, I think one thing that you said that sticks out for all of those paths is there are guidelines, there's a roadmap. And one of the biggest things is consistently following that roadmap will create success and results if you're doing the right things. But we all know what the right things are roughly. They're out there. There's coaches, there's gurus, there's people who've done it. But it's the consistency of doing those things. It's the consistency of always checking in every week. It's the consistency of always asking for the reviews, always sending them the birthday card, not just doing it for 1 year and, oh my God, they didn't buy a second house with me after the first year I sent them a business card. I'm never doing that again, right? It's consistently committing to the right practices that help build and scale your business. And you guys have done it there.
Yeah, there's an investment in it for sure, but you're investing in yourself and this is a business. So sometimes it involves spending a little bit of money to give that extra added personal touch, but I'm here to tell you that it pays dividends, right? We get paid well to do what it is that we do. And a lot of us really love doing it. So let's, love on our clients a bit. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Zach, thank you so much for hopping in here today. It was really great to get to dive into your business a little bit with you. It looks like we do have one question kind of rolling in here. Looks like it's can you speak to how Osirs can help agents expand their business through tracking effort and activity of agents, ISAs, and VAs? Arias, I think that's a great question. I do think it's a little bit of a separate topic than what we are talking about today here from the customer service point of view and building that 5-star review. I'd love to, we can hop offline and dive in a little bit deeper, but I think at the high level view, stepping tangential to this conversation, Osirs does have some good audits and automations within Follow Up Boss to track agents' productivity and their follow-up from their appointments, and also to audit and track, really automate the accountability of, okay, agent got a new lead. Did you call it and 3 times and send 1 text message in the first 15 minutes like his business protocol? And we have built some automations that at minute 15 will check to see if an agent or an ISA whoever that activity is assigned to did follow through, did make those calls, did make those text messages. And if they didn't, we can take action to remind them or remove the lead from their their ecosystem and give it to an ISA. But Arias, I'll send you an email. We can dive a little bit deeper and talk about that, and how we have some products that can help out with that. But all right, well, I think we're going to call it quits here at 1:34 my time. Zach, again, thank you so much for being here with us today. And everybody stay tuned for our next system spotlight here. We're really looking forward to continuing and doing these. And thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks.
Take care, everybody.